Hi, everybody, and welcome back to It Stays in the House.
I'm Mom.
This is Mom. My name is Angel. We're going to touch on losing a parent at a young age and how that can, turn into different forms of abandonment. I guess I'll start because she's not ready to talk yet, and I understand. So I'll start off by giving a little background to why I want to do this topic, because I feel like a lot of people have lost parents at young ages, and my mother being one of them. My grandmother passed away when you were 15?
Yes.
15 years old. So I just want to start by maybe asking you a question. Maybe that's how I'll start it.
Okay.
So my first question would be, without us going into too much detail, because you can do that if you like, but I don't want to overstep my boundaries because we're big on boundaries, right?
Okay.
How has not being nurtured past a young age affected your ability to be a nurturer?
That's a very good question. And the best way I can answer it is that everything I know as the nurturer that I am, it is compiled within those 15 years I had with my mother, because she was so big on nurturing. And I say that because with raising 11 children, she had a very strong belief that if you can't spoil them, don't have them. Mm-hmm. And each one of us was so spoiled that people literally thought each one of us was an only child with no siblings, because she spoiled us. And trust me, with the spoiling, there was the boundaries, the balance, the structure. But we were so loved that I remember that. Mm-hmm. And so there's a truth that is hard to parent past the age you were parented. Mm-hmm. And with me, I took everything that I received within those 15 years, plus I remember how she parented my older siblings, because out of 11, I was number 9. So I was really at the bottom of the pole. And I remember how she nurtured them even as adults with their own families. Mm-hmm. And she was still spoiling them and nurturing them. And so I took that knowledge of what she did with them into my adulthood. Mm-hmm. And that is how I continued to go, because I had such a good role model. And I can truly say, with all that I am, I use her all the time.
Still.
Even today. I'm 72 years old, and everything I do is based around what she did, how she did it, whether it's in business, communicating, people, but definitely parenting. Even as a wife, everything I did, it was because I had that role model. And so as an adult, I can truly say I watched and I learned and I utilized and I channeled what she did into my life. And so that's the best answer I can give. Oh boy. Yeah.
Do you feel like it affected your marriage?
Now oh boy. Did it affect my marriage because of not having my mom?
Yeah, because like, you know, with you going to her for advice with marriage and like all those things, like,
I can truly say I have never had one person that I could go to, not even my siblings, because everybody thought I was the oldest one, because I always act like the oldest one. So I never had anyone that I could go to if I wanted to talk to someone. It was just me. And so in that sense, yeah, that did affect me to the point where I could not go to my mother and ask her or talk to her and share. So the best thing I could do was remember. Remember how she and Dad handled things. Remember her remarks to my siblings when they were dealing with their spouses. I remembered. And that became my communication or my counseling. I remembered. And well, I have to say that because for the majority of the time, well, I'll be honest, I did not go to God. I was too angry, so I could not go to Him for anything. In the beginning of my marriage, in the first 15 years, no, I didn't go to Him. I strictly just leaned off of my past knowledge. Oh boy. You know I didn't want to do this subject.
oh,
okay?
it's like pulling teeth right now. But I mean,
know. Yeah.
I respect that and I understand, and I'm being very,
See, one of the things people have to understand about losing a parent at a young age is that it marks you. It defines who you are, how you think, how you feel. And it can even make you or it can break you. And when you lose your parent, that nurturer especially, the one who molded you, and mostly it's your mother, to lose that connection, it causes you to not only change, but it causes you to doubt. Because it affects who you trust, how you trust. It even affects if you will love and how you love. And to lose that parent, it puts you in a position as you grow, because you will grow up. But it puts you into a position where you have to ask yourself and answer yourself, what do I do with this pain? What do I do with this? Because it would either catapult you into growth and success and cause you to dig in and work, or it will cause you to break and give up and not even care. And it can even cause you not to even care about the future. And that is one of the things that people who have parents, is hard for them to understand, because that is a reckoning that nobody can help you with. That is something that only you can do for yourself. And to lose a parent at a young age, that is a very strong part of abandonment, because you do not trust people, because you always believe they have an ulterior motive, and eventually they're going to abandon you too. And many times it will cause you to look at every person as, what do you want? Not who are you, what do you want? Because you cannot fill the void. You can never replace. So you become a person that is either going to hurt or try to take or want to use you. It's hard to see life differently. And I know it's a negative way of thinking, but there is a brokenness that is hard to get over. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people say, well, how can you get past it? You don't. You do not get past it. You do not get over it. You just learn how to live with it. You have to make decisions on which way you're going to navigate the pain. And I talked about the two options. And in some people's case, they'll go forward. And in my case, I purposely chose to go backwards. And
why?
Because I was angry with God. First of all, and man, you really pushing it. For my mother to be the person that she was the mother to the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And for her to die the way she did, that peeved me off. Mm-hmm. And it angered me. Because why? Mm-hmm. That was just the thing. Why? And at 15, that's not something you can rationalize. And she died in my arms, and she took her last breath with me. And so that was even harder. And I called it senseless, and nobody cared because
of the time.
Yeah.
The
December 21st,
the
1968.
era of the world that we were living in.
Yeah. December 21st, 1968, 12 o'clock that afternoon. Never forget it. And during that era of time, it was such a division that was so hostile in this country that nobody would help. Mm-hmm. And so I couldn't reckon. I just couldn't reckon why. Mm-hmm. And my anger became so strong that I blamed God for it. And the reason is because we had such hopes and dreams, and because I was that child that was academically excelled, I was on the route to become a college student, senior in high school at 16, had a 4-year academic scholarship to Grambling University. I was going to be an attorney. And I had all of that lined up. Mom had all the, as they say, all the ducks in a row for my education. And when she died, I was so angry at God, I refused to go to college. So here I am out of high school, but I refused to go to college because I wanted him to, I was calling myself punishing him for taking my mom. And so I hated him. So I would never ask him for anything. I refused to pray. I didn't want anything to do with him because he took my mother. And he could have stopped it as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. He could have fixed it, but he didn't. So in my case, I didn't care. And being a child, people say if you curse God, you'll die, which I was ignorant. I thought it was profanity. I didn't know cussing and cursing were totally different things. That I didn't know that. So I would say profanity in hopes that he would kill me, but he never did, which made me even more angry at him because I had to live without Mom.
Do you have flashbacks from that day?
Oh, there's never a day that I do not think about my mother, but I had to learn to contain what I allowed myself to see.
Or remember?
I remembered, but I chose not to remember.
Right.
I picked and chose as my mechanism for survival how I viewed that day my mother died. Because from 15 to actually 67, I never ever said my mother was murdered. I always said she died. I never talked about how she died. And the first time I actually admitted it was to you. 2020. It was in 2020 when I finally said the words, because it was something that I had made myself never say. I had made myself never look at. So as a result of that, I learned how to talk about her death, but never as a murder. Because that was something that I could not handle. Now, spiritually, it was nothing I couldn't handle. But to face that and talk about it the way I can now, that was always that I'll get to a later spot. And until June 6, 1983, that's when my whole world changed. And that's when God showed me, told me, and chose me. And that is when I loved him again. That is when I chose to love him. But he gave me the grace not to have to talk about it. And not to have to keep looking at it in the pain that I was looking at it in. And losing her at such an early age, he took that pain and he nurtured me even when I didn't realize I was being nurtured. And he held me even when I didn't know how to hold myself. And my anger was so profound that I just dealt with life. I dealt with everything with power, with grace. But I never said those words. And he waited for me to be able to say it. And he never left me. And when I spoke them to you, that is when I was able to go to Texas, where she was buried, and on our land in our family's cemetery. And we went together to her grave for the first time since she died, because as many times as I would go to Texas, I never went to her grave. I would not even go on the land because I never wanted to see it. But when I was able to talk to you and tell you and to release that, I was able to go to Texas onto the land. And yeah, it was a reckoning. So you never forget. There's not a day that does not go by I do not think of my mother, not one day.
What do you think is something that could have helped you along the way, or do you think it's just time?
Nothing could have helped me. And I know nothing and no one could have helped me, because number one, I would not permit it. I would not allow it. And there was no one that qualified to fill that void. And as hard as it is for people to understand, that's a solo journey. Mm-hmm. And nobody can help you through that. It has to come a day and a time when you choose to go forward in a different capacity. When you choose to make decisions based on, I can do this. And it's no brag, but I knew my father loved me, because one thing he showed was that he was a man. Mm-hmm. Because we were still minors. It was a lot of us in the house still. And Dad never flinched. He never, and you know this, mm-hmm. He never brought a woman in that house. He said not a woman would ever step foot in this house calling herself Mrs. Nelson. Mm-mm. He said it'll never happen.
And it never did.
And to the day we held his hand, it never did. No, we never saw a woman. Even when I was
granddaddy
grown,
was married, had a second wife, and still nobody could come in that house on Lexington.
No, wasn't happening.
No other woman.
Not sleeping in that house. And not only that, but you were a little girl. You were here, before before I really got to know her. Mm-hmm. And I remember when he said that he was going to get married again, and I was like, okay, he called me in Michigan. That tells you I'm grown, gone, kids. Mm-hmm. And he said, I said, well, Dad, do you love her? He said, she's a nice girl.
Oh, God.
Never did he said, she's a nice girl. He said, your mama is my wife. Mm. And I said, Dad. But the point is, he said she was a nice girl, and that's the way he left it. And that's all he ever said. But she never spent the night.
Not at that house.
He would go over hers, but she couldn't come to his. And he handled his business as a man. We never saw him with anyone, ever. He never brought anyone to the house. They were never allowed to do anything. And I remember all the bills, because Mama handled all the business. She took care of everything. Dad was not educated. We didn't even know he couldn't read or write, because Mom was so educated that she handled everything and dealt with him, and they dealt with everything as equals. Mm-hmm. So we never knew. And so after Mom died, he literally had to put my name on the checkbooks and do everything to keep paying the bills, because I'm the only one that knew what to do. Even though I was young,
But you were the one that stayed up under her the most.
Yeah, and she had trained me to do everything. And he always said, your mom said if anything ever happened to her, you knew what to do. Mm-hmm. So he literally had to take me to the bank, because I was 15, and put my name on things in order to sign and pay all the bills, and to give my older siblings as well as the youngers lunch money. Mm-hmm. And so he took care of us. He never upset the household, but he still couldn't fill the void. Mm-hmm. He could never be
How did
Mama.
it affect him?
Oh, it broke him. When the day Mama died was the first and the only time I ever saw my father cry. I had never seen him cry.
I don't think I ever saw Granddaddy cry.
I had never, ever seen him cry until the day he found out she was gone. And he was lost. As he said, he just wanted to give up because he didn't know what to do. And without her, he didn't care. Mm-hmm. But he knew he had to take care of us because we were all he had. Mm-hmm. And some woman came and wanted to see him. And, I was the gatekeeper. It's like, well, what do you want? How may I help you?
I could imagine.
And she wanted to know if she could speak with him. And I said,
About?
Yeah. I said, is this personal or business? You know, I was very professional even at that age. And the thing of it is that she had remembered him from when they were kids back in Mississippi, and she had come into wealth, and her husband had passed away, and she had heard Mom had passed away, and she came to see if he was interested in getting married and he could have all the land, the money, everything. And Dad told
That's
her
how she
no.
approached the situation?
Yeah, she actually thought Dad was going to let the older girls raise us and he go off with her and become wealthy.
Oh.
And, oh no, she didn't want us, she wanted him.
Oh.
And he asked, and I remember him saying, lady, you have taken the leave of your senses.
That was
you
his
know
thing.
it's right. And he said, these are my kids, this is my family, and this is my house. He said, me and my wife bought this house. He said, now you get off my porch, and whatever you think, you forget it, and don't ever come back here again. I would never marry you. And that was the last I saw of her in that big black car she was in. Okay? And I'm just saying, he was broken, but he lived for us. And as much as he did to be there for us, it just was not the same.
Do you think it affected all your siblings in a different way? Because like you and your brother were there together.
Yeah, Steve.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you think that it affected the two of you because you guys were present differently than it did the rest of you guys?
I would have to say no, because even though we were there and we saw.
It's very traumatic. And
the trauma of the attack, because it was a vicious mob that attacked us. It is what it is. And because we were there, of course, the trauma of it is something that the other siblings did not know. But to lose Mama, we all felt our own pain. And so I can only say that all of us suffered greatly. And I remember my oldest sister on her 70th birthday, I remember asking her, I said, if you can have anything you want for your birthday, what would you want? And she said, my mama. And I said, Alice, what? And she said, you heard me. Now, mind you, she had lost her husband, 2 children, and she actually had 11 kids just like Mama. But she said if she could have anything in the world at that moment for her birthday, all she wanted was Mama. So I never forgot that. And because of that, I can only say we all suffered so greatly because we were all so attached. And we loved her so much. So to lose your parent at any age is traumatic. But the hard part about losing her as a child is that you're going through your formative years in life, and there's so much still that has to mature, and you need her. And
nothing you can
it's
do.
not that you want her, you need her. And not to have her, it's a breaking. And even if you succeed in life,
you're still not whole.
You're not whole. And no matter how much money you have, no matter how great of accomplishments, because I don't brag, but I'm accomplished. I've excelled. I've always out-earned most people. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful. But money only allows you to have a greater opportunity to hide and to mask your pain because people see your success. And then they don't look at your pain. So you can hide better. You can be there for them without them ever seeing you.
But did you want to be seen?
No. I did not want to be seen. People never understood me because I was so seen. They thought I wanted to be seen, but as much as they saw me, they didn't see me. They saw the image.
But I mean, people that are in your personal life that, what I'm saying, like, when I say do you want to be seen, I'm not speaking of, like, the people on the outside world looking at you. I'm talking about, did you want to be seen by the people that loves you?
No.
Got you.
I did not want to be seen by anyone. For me, with my hate and the anger I had, it had to be something powerful to pull me.
Out of
Because
that space.
I was so good at masking my hate and my anger, especially toward God, that my own husband didn't know. Your dad had no idea all those years. And we're talking about well past.
You think he really didn't know?
He couldn't
Or he
know.
didn't know, like, in the beginning?
He didn't know the pain I had. He did not. I mean, you have to understand, at that time, I was the first lady. Television, radio, I'm seen.
But he sees you.
But he didn't see me. Because he had no way of knowing what I didn't allow him to know.
I was going to say that.
Because I was so good at masking it and filling every genre that he needed filled. I was not just a wife, I was the first lady. And at that time...
And you're only speaking on my dad because you married him shortly after this happened.
He took me to my high school prom.
I mean, no, what I mean is because you've been married more than once, so I just want to be specific
I'm talking
that you're
about,
speaking on this specific marriage.
Well, not the second marriage because that, no.
Right.
Because that was a blip on the radar.
My stepdaddy was a blip on the radar?
Of time. Because there was a short time.
Okay.
And that was at a time when I had healed. I was going through a healing process. Right,
that's what I mean. So that's what I'm saying. So when you bring up dad, it was more so because
I'm talking
of
about
what you were going through in that time frame.
In that time frame. I met your dad when I was 16 years old. Mom died at 15.
Right.
So here, when he took me to my prom, then we got married. I was still a teenager. And I was still angry and hiding my pain. We're in ministry. We're doing all these great things together. And I was so hurt. And I would cry.
So you were just more so like robotic.
Yes. I was respectful in doing what I did. But the pain was allowing me to hide. So he did not know the depth of my pain because it's hard for a person who has a living mother to understand the depths of suffering that a person has when they lose a mother.
I do understand that. I understand that I would never understand until you have to cross that line. I do think it's a little bit different for me because I've had a front window seat with you and seeing you navigate and, you know, just watching you learn how to navigate. You know what I mean? Like
through my pain.
Through your pain, because you still have moments. I know when you have days, and I could hear it in your voice, and I could see it in, you know, just your spirit sometimes. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yes.
understand because I've been in your shoes. I understand because I'm your daughter. And yeah,
Yeah,
like,
and I say this for people who have gone through this. When you have lost someone, especially your nurturer, your mother, and to these young men out here, you will never accept a woman for who she is until you can deal with what you have actually lost. And you will never trust another woman because they always see that woman as, what do you want?
did you feel like that about men in your life?
And I was going to say,
side?
on the flip side, for me, it was always, okay, what does he want? And how long is he going to be around before he leave? Because that abandonment made you feel like they were only there temporary anyway. So they're eventually going to get what they want and go. And your dad was the only man that I had ever been with, ever, in my life. And so to go through life only knowing one man, it was still a lack of trust to a point, because I never trusted him to stay because my mom left. So everybody else will go. That's just the mentality that you have.
So do you think that happens to everybody when they lose a parent? Like, meaning, like, I know one day I'm going to lose my parents. So do you think that my mind will shift, or that my heart would shift to, like...
I hope not. And that's the reason why I'm saying this, is because losing a parent as an adult and losing a parent as a child is not different, but it's a different saying. Because as a child, you don't know how to ration and reason, because your brain is not developed, first of all, to handle that type of trauma. And then to lose your parent in a violent manner,
Right. Yeah.
the way I did, with us being attacked by those people.
By the police.
And the police not helping us. And instead of helping us, seeing that this vicious mob, because they look like them, they went to their rescue instead of helping a lady and a child. What
Two
could we do
kids.
against all those men? And they wouldn't even help us. And then not only that, but they would not even arrest them. Because
Well, they
of the
tried to
time.
arrest Uncle Steve.
Yeah, they tried to arrest my brother for trying to get to his mother.
Yeah.
And so that is why I'm saying it's a difference. A child of trauma is different than a mature adult. But in your formative years, when your mind is not developed, when your thoughts are not able to handle that, it's hard. And it affects every thought process you don't even know how to have. So, yeah, to those that are going through this,
I can't.
I understand.
Yeah.
But I just pray they do not make the decisions that I made, because I broke. I couldn't go further. I didn't want to go further. I didn't care to go further. And I hated God for thinking that he was going to make me go further. How dare you? I'll show you. I'll do nothing. And so I pray others will be able to navigate better than I did and succeed, but it's not a pain you'll ever get over. You'll just learn how to live with it. You'll learn how to eventually not suffer under the loss, but how to live in the loss. And for those who want to go further, you can heal. You will never forget, but you can heal. But you have to want it. And for those who do not want to heal, they'll forever be in a non-relationship because they'll never trust anyone because they can't trust their own heart to heal. So, okay, you got me. And it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. But if it'll help someone else, I pray it does. Are we good? I'm done. I don't want to talk anymore.
We done?
I am done talking.
Well, that concludes our episode on abandonment.
Yes.
I just want to tell you I love you.
I love you.